stand on. But you can't really do that until and unless you understand. And I think, again, most fundamentally, as long as you obey that law of one, which is do no harm. And I mean, that may not completely protect you from the system, because it is important to know all the stuff that, Wizard talks about. Everybody, I mean, the gems that have been dropped here today have been amazing to me. And it just gives me a little bit more in my arsenal to be able to defend myself if somebody comes at me unjustly because I haven't done anything to harm anybody else. So then I can easily defend myself with my words and say, no, that's not what's going on. I don't buy into this system. I'm not doing that. You have no authority over me. I mean, but you got to be able to communicate. That's powerful. If you can't communicate the message to somebody, if you come at them in a way that they're not going to get it or they're not going to understand, they're going to do what they know to do. And, if they're a cop and they've been taught a certain way, then they're going to do what they have been taught to do. And it really matters not what you just presented to them if you don't present it in a way that they can understand. So knowing all this information is very powerful and important. But firsthand, you have to know that you have inalienable rights under God, and that is nobody has authority over you. You don't have authority over anybody else, and we're all here to coexist. And as long as you're not causing loss, injury, or harm to anybody, and you're able to communicate that, most people are going to understand, and they're going to maybe actually question what they've just been conditioned to believe and think.
Unalienable rights under God, inalienable rights under the Constitution.
What's the difference? Unalienable is so it's non-lienable. You can't lien it, but inalienable against so you can lien it against the Constitution. Okay.
It's a suretyship. He who hateth suretyship is sure. So you don't take upon the person. You can walk on water. You don't need to make a boat and float. Floating notes. Mm-hmm.
Sorry,
so the Bible is an allegory.
Could I cut in here real quick, guys? So
it is.
Can we get something settled here, Wizard?
Turn your mic up a little bit.
All right, give me. Here, let me roll up my window too. Maybe that will help. How about that?
Might help.
I can hear you.
Okay. All right, Wizard. So Bad Barney and I were kind of at a different understanding here. Now you can still get equity in a municipal court as well, in an administrative process, right? As long as your trust has been established, you could still
you don't even need a trust established. You don't even need a trust established. Equity exists without a trust. Because in fact, equity is it's the pure trust of truth. Every word of God.
Well, with common law.
Right. Every word of God is pure. It is a shield unto he who put their trust in him. And so when we bring the word of God, that's bringing equity. So it's bringing the trust. So you don't need a trust. It's already with you. What you're doing is you're destroying their trust.
Now, if I remember correctly, Bad Barney was saying that you could only get you can only have common law, or there, certain courts or whatever. There's only a court of international trade where you'll find common law. What I was saying is that you could still have common law in municipal courts as well, even at the lower level. But it works better, I believe, is if you already have a trust, so that way you can take it in camera in private, because then it is private. It's no longer a public matter.
Correct. And like I said, and that's the distinction in their system between public and private trust. A trust under God is a pure trust, and you express it. You're supposed to minister the word of God. So you minister the trust. So it's public, right? Does that sound like a public trust? Well, that's because I'm a servant to the public. I'm going to serve you the best knowledge I can. And that's the Lord's trust. What other trust do you want?
Well, some people want Satan's trust. Who knows?
Then pick up a
Weird
bunch
place.
of dust from the ground and build your trust on it. See how well it stands. Because if you believe in the dirt rather than the thing that made the dirt, the source of life, your trust isn't going to have any life. It's going to be the fictional trust that they have. It's going to be identical. It's going to be an image and likeness, and that's what they're hoping for. They want all kinds of image and likeness of that trust. They want you to write it down. They want you to be malfeasant in that trust, because once you destroy that trust, they can take it over and everything that's in it. It's called breach of trust. So go ahead and keep writing it down. Put all your property in that. If you don't know how to administrate it, how to protect it, somebody else is going to breach it and you're fucked. A trust shall not fail for want of a trustee. So I put all my trust in the grantor, and I am the benefactor. You want to know the facts? Got to come through me.
Yeah. Want to know the facts? Click the link.
The benefactor and the beneficiary.
No, you are the benefactor to the beneficiary. The benefactor gives to the beneficiary. The beneficiary is the record of the facts. So you put the facts on the record. So you put the facts on the record. That's the credit. And what you put out comes back. So now you benefit by putting out what to the beneficiary that should come back to you. Credence. So now that beneficiary is no longer a rat bastard child in the system. It's been resurrected into salvation and merged with the true party of credence. I don't walk anywhere without him. Nowhere. So I'm going to go take my nap.
All right. Thanks a lot for being here, Wizard, and dropping that absolute
bombs.
Absolute bombs. Like, exactly. You took the words right out of my mouth. Just the guy is like, he's like a walking computer, man. It's just crazy.
Yeah, he's an encyclopedia, isn't he?
It's like,
so how are you doing, OTW? I haven't seen you in a minute.
Yeah, same here. Same here. I haven't seen you in a minute too, and yeah, I'm doing really good actually.
Are you still off the pot? Just curious.
No, sir. No, I'm not.
Okay, I was just curious. How long did you last?
Almost a month.
Yeah. Did you feel good?
Oh yeah, I was great. I felt awesome, man.
Well, I've taken breaks my whole life, where I'll, not smoke for a minute, or I'll, I will. And it typically ends up being like, why did I ever stop?
Yeah, well,
typically.
But
it is nice to have a break. I mean, I think it's, it does, change your mindset some, to the point, I think, even more motivationally. It seems that you have more time on your hands to do things. But I think it's also very important to go inside, and that's what it does for me, is it causes me to think. So it's like, I think, and then I act, and then I think, and then I act.
Right.
Anyway, it's good to see you, and thanks for having me.
Analyze your thoughts a lot. I can tell you that much. You try to know where they're coming from, and sometimes you have to let them go too. That's like another thing that I've learned to do. Is some thoughts just don't belong to me, so I'm just gonna let them go, man. And I've been getting less triggered actually for a little bit now. That's another thing which I think I'm pretty happy. That I've acquired a level where it'll take a lot to trigger me now. I think I've seen a lot so far, so now I have PTSD. YouTube. I'm just joking.
For what? Explain that. Because of all the stuff that has come through?
Well, the journey that I've embarked upon since the last, let's say 8 months, 9 months now. Almost about to head into a year. Actually, it's really awesome, man. I'm actually happy
Well,
to
it
still
seems,
be around.
yeah, it
It's like
seems that
I
you're doing
surprised
well.
myself.
Obviously, you're getting an audience and getting a voice and something across. That guy that you were playing earlier, and you sped it to like 1.25, I think, but he was throwing down all kinds of good stuff about like how to what was it, how to free yourself from the system or whatever the case might be.
Yeah, it's The Path to Freedom, I think it was the name of the
Yeah,
video.
that was
Well,
pretty
that
good.
was just part one, so I'm hoping I'm hoping he does part two really soon. So because I'm gonna surely play that. That's for sure.
There's a guy named Aaron Abke, Abke, I believe, and him and another guy, I can't remember the other guy's name, but they go
Jay Griff.
through. What's his?
Jay Griff.
Jay Griff.
Yeah, and I've reached out to Aaron. I want to link Aaron with Paul, but I haven't received a reply yet from Aaron. But we have been, I've talked to him in some of his live chats and comment sections. But yeah, hopefully he'll get back. Yeah,
Well,
I'm
he
sure he's a
did.
busy dude. So
Yeah, I'm sure he is. He did a thing with I I don't know if that's the guy's name. It doesn't ring a bell with me.
yeah,
But
Aaron Abke and Jay Griff have been collabing on a lot of stuff. They got Wealth University, something like that. Conscious Wealth University, I think it's called.
well, it was really all about God's, like basically your spiritual power and how to detach from the system. And they did like I don't know, 7-part series or something like that, 15-part series. I don't even know. It was maybe, but it was very informative. And that's where I got that the highest law is trust in common law. That's where I actually was like, oh, trust law is common law. Okay. Because they had a bunch of nuggets of information in there. So I was just wanting to throw that out there if anybody wants to, take a look at it, because I found it very informative. I would go back and review it because I don't know that I've even seen all of them yet, but they were worth the watch for sure.
Well, I'd suggest as well. The one of the guys that I played was Eternally Aware. The second one, I don't even know who that guy is. Actually, it was just somebody that dropped the link, and I decided to play that video. So I didn't even have time to check into the second person that was on the
It's in the
in
chat.
today's show.
Someone dropped it
All right.
a couple times.
So anyway, Eternally Aware, man. This guy's got like hundreds of videos. He's been dropping these things since like for 11 years now. So when he was the one who was talking about, the path to freedom, that's just like part one of a new series that he started. But he's got like so much information, man. It's crazy. He does video in his beginning videos. He's like there with a whiteboard and he's like writing it down and everything. Now his videos have been gotten like they're different now. Like he presents stuff and does montages and whatever. It's like, but you'll see he starts off pretty simple, I guess, with an ordinary phone or I don't know what, and you see the evolution between the years. I've been following him for like 5 years. I just like stopped watching him and just started recently watching him again because of my interactions with Paul and what I've been learning over there, right? So because Eternally Aware talks a lot about Canadian laws, but he mixes all of them together. So he'll talk about United States, Canada, Russia, all the ones that are under the same system, if you want to call it that. You're muted. Oh, okay.
I just said the world because I was like you were like all
Yeah.
the other systems. I'm like pretty much like the world. Yeah.
Exactly.
Until that's the power of the, for lack of a better word, community that's going on here, is that we're all spreading information that frees us as an individual to have our own realization, perspective, authority over ourself, responsibility, all that stuff. So that's, I mean, you're doing the same thing that guy's doing. I'm doing it too, just in my own little way, and Paul does, and
Yeah.
Everybody that participates, I believe, is part of that. And even in the chat, if they're adding something, then they're we're just building that
confidence,
the resource of understanding, the resource of awareness. Awareness is our biggest. It's the only commodity, really. It's the most important thing is our awareness, and where we put that is what we experience. So if we can learn to put that on experiencing the life that we would love or love, and or helping other people, I found is very powerful and fundamental. At least it makes me fulfilled, and that's what you're doing here. So I think we're all trying to just help other people to come to some understanding of themselves. And
Exactly.
we had somebody to do it to us, right? I mean, now we're just passing that torch along. We're just sharing so that other people can do it for them, and then ideally they're going to teach other people, and it's just like the cycle.
Absolutely.
So there's no credit or fault for somebody. That's why it's easy to forgive somebody for being a dumbass, right? You're a dumbass, but it's not your fault because that's what you've learned, right? I am, I'm a dumbass too, still, but I also have that understanding. So, it's a character flaw more than, a spiritual flaw.
Right.
I've just learned to be a certain kind of way. And, you teach other people, and, each person's going to learn their own way. So your voice is very powerful. And, like I said, I'm glad you're here.
Got to use it to profess the good word. You know what I'm saying?
Let's say it again.
I said, you got to use your voice to profess the good word.
Well, when you know to, only when you know to, you can't really do it until, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I think it doesn't matter. I don't like Oprah, but it was noted that she quoted, "When you know better, you do better." So until you know better, you really can't do better. So that's why it's important to get everybody's little voice on here, because I'm going to speak to somebody different than you do, and you're going to speak to somebody different than I do. But we're all really, preaching that gospel, the good news, which is, to me, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. So mind your words,
Agreed. I'm going to have to agree with that. That's for sure.
And Wizard's amazing at that. And Paul's great at it too. I don't know a whole lot about entomology. So that's, I am fascinated by it, and I do like to learn from it or learn it. But the one experience that I do have is your words are source. So you have to choose your words and not just let them come at you. And that's why the TV can be so coercive to people, because it just says, and they just believe. And so you have to choose to say for yourself what, and then try to believe that. And the more that you can believe it, like, God will give you evidence back. You're doing this thing. At some point you imagined, I'm going to start a podcast, or I'm going to do this thing, right? And then you got evidence back, which gave you a little bit of a higher faith or belief in that concept. And so the more that you're doing it and you're believing in it, the more you're going to see evidence of it. So if you think you're going to die of cancer, you're going to die of cancer. I can pretty much guarantee that. I don't know for sure because it's not me, but I'm just saying, the more you believe in something, if you believe you're healthy and you're fit, then you'll be prompted in that direction too, or you'll start to see evidence back.
I agree with you, because I'm kind of the guy who kind of thinks that I'm going to die of immortality.
And you guarantee that. And that, it's like my grandfather said. I remember when he had his heart attack in his late 40s, He said for the rest of his life, every day, I'll be gone soon. I'm going to die soon. He lived longer than any other, recordable person in our genealogy. Like he lived to 98 years old. And the only reason he died was that stupid fucking Jim Jones juice. So I don't want to argue with it. Yeah,
oh my
man.
God.
I don't want to
never
argue
mind.
with you guys.
Sorry. I thought you were actually being serious about Jim Jones. I was like, how the fuck did he get taken out like that?
No, I'm using it as a hobo code for what we're not supposed to talk about because I respect OTW's channel.
Got it. Yeah, I'm retarded. I came late. I'm sorry.
It's all right. And I'm not saying I'm not saying you should sit there and say, "Oh, I'm going to die of this." I'm not saying I learned from that. I said I don't want to be like my grandpa in that sense. There's a million ways I do want to be like him. He was an amazing man, but in that particular aspect, I think he probably was doing more harm than good. However, the word doesn't guarantee anything. The action does. It's the fact is he quit smoking. He stopped living his life in a duplicitous way, and he started eating healthier, and he gained all the benefit from it.
I'm not going to argue that, Dick. I do believe that your actions they lead to wherever.
But words are powerful, right, Aaron?
My point is that the word is source. The word is what you say when you say these things.
No, the word's not source, in my opinion.
Well, I know it to be true. So
if we argue over it, it is the oldest argument, like faith versus works. Which, can you have the Most High without one versus the other, or do you have to have both together? And it's like even the good book basically shows us they're intertwined, right? And you said that too.
Words are action. So when you speak something, you're actually committing something into action. The more that you can actually get yourself to believe those words. So look, I'm just going to give you this example. If you say life sucks all the time, if you just say life sucks, here's what's going to happen. Your mind is going to say, I see how this sucks. I see it. I pick it up. I see it. And actually, metaphysically, you're going to draw those things in. If you say that life is good, you see all these things. And then both of them are going to elevate your faith in whatever words that you're speaking. So when you have the ability to control your words, now you have the ability to control your experience here on earth in this realm right now. I don't know what comes after this. I can't claim that. But it starts with word. I know that from hundreds and hundreds, probably thousands of people at this point where I've actually seen them experience it. And I do experience it on a daily basis. So that's my message to people. And that to me is true salvation. What Christians call salvation is when you understand that, then you have the ability to control your words. Then you can actually speak whatever it is that you want into existence rather than just repeating things like a parrot because that's what you've been taught.
But of course, if I'm a mute and I can't use words and I can't speak,
I still can words here.
Exactly. So it's not the word, it's the spirit. And what is the word, because they'll say it's a book. I say it's the spirit. So it's all a signpost pointing to something. But does the word W-O-R-D or W-Y-R-D or however you want to say it encompass the Most High and embody everything that is beyond perception, that passes all understanding? Absolutely not. So where does it happen? In the space of formless. You're interconnected.
Imagination.
Experientially. You don't have to speak it. Even the word says that. Even the good book says that. See, now we're getting caught in semantics, but it says, go forth and preach the gospel if you must use words.
Here's my understanding of a formula that works, or I've seen work. I know it works, but my understanding: words, direct your imagination, get the feeling of being. Those three things: the feeling of being, that sense of being, the consciousness of being, is what creates the experience that we have. First, we have to believe it, and then we see it. It's not the other way around. What we see, we're casting forward. if we're seeing something and we're believing in that, which we use our words, we say I believe that's to be true. We're using that to then define what we imagine. When we go into our imagination, which contrary to what people say about Jack all the time, get out of your imagination or whatever the case might be, I would argue the opposite and get into your imagination and start imagining those things that you want. And how you imagine those things that you want is you start with your words. You say, I am this, I am that, I am becoming more patient every day. When you start to say those things and you can imagine that you are becoming more patient, which God will give you that feedback if you continue to say these things, you'll start to see them. And then you're like, oh, okay. And then your faith becomes like unshakable. You cannot stop. Nobody else can tell me what I've experienced because I have seen it come to fruition. I've watched miracles happen. I still see miracles happen on a regular basis. And I'm not a religious person. I wouldn't claim to be a Christian as far as things go. But I do believe fundamentally in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. I also believe all things are possible to those who believe. So if you can get yourself to believe something, which by repetition, this is what the TV does to everybody all the time. They advertise. So that advertisement it's a repetition of words to the point where people start to believe it or accept it as true. They just accept it, and then they act upon that. So if you can get yourself to believe I'm becoming more patient every day, then all of a sudden you're going to start to act upon it. And then you'll see evidence back that I really am becoming more patient every day. Wow. Because I did this with all my clients at the gym, all my clients. I will give them that this is why I hold this thing up. And I'm not promoting. This is not my thing. I don't care. This was given to me. But I know that it was inspired by God through me. I don't care. I don't look for fame. I'm not looking for fortune. I'm not here to take credit. And I also know that, it's not my fault for being who I am. I just share the information with other people. And it seems that the people that I get to share it with are, well, on the same wavelength or, energy level as me, or else I wouldn't be sharing it with them, or else it's just a seed. And, maybe 10 years from now, they get that or understand it. But I feel like, without, again, humbly, I say, I feel like I've reached the end. I have no idea where the fuck I go from here. Really, I don't. I'm still human, but I also realize that the eternal body of man is the imagination. There is no beginning. There is no end. And so that's where we go to actually create what we experience in the realm. And that's what most people, if not, really nobody knows. Nobody knows that. If they knew that, then they would practice getting into their imagination and actually seeing things as they would like them to be. And that's what I do a lot, and I experience it. So I get to share and I say, life is good. I feel good. Good things are always happening to me. And I see these things happening all the time. This is an example to me. This is what's good to me. That's why it's so profound and fundamental, because it applies to the person saying it. It's only what you know to be good inside your own being. What like life is good means to you. What I feel good means to you. What good things are always happening means to you. It's all personal, but it's a fundamental thing that I only came across like.
You're totally monologuing right now, though.
5 years.
Can anyone else get a word in edgewise or say
go
anything?
Ahead, bro. Anytime.
I just wanted to apologize because I saw the hypocrisy in myself that I said I wouldn't argue with you, and then I proceeded to argue with you. So you're entitled to your perspective, and it's all good. I respect what you're saying, and it's again, I think it's one of the oldest arguments in all of spirituality. So it's like people take a side, and it's both to me. What you speak absolutely matters, but it starts from the formless. But if you don't see it that way or you do, either way, I respect whatever way you see it. And I listen to everything you said there.
I do see that it starts with the formless. Absolutely. Because like I said, I can't take any credit for who I am or any fault. However, what I did learn was that we as humans have the distinct ability to use our words once we realize that and understand that, to then create an experience in this realm that we would prefer to have, as opposed to saying the things that we wouldn't want to have. And that's my message to people. It's to share. It's not, I'm definitely not trying to divide. But what I was saying before is I don't, like, I have experienced it. I came from that point of view of not knowing to the point of understanding. And it was a gift. It's called the gift of salvation for a reason. It's not anything that anybody can do to earn it. Seek and ye shall find, right? But there's nothing that, like, I can't be like, if somebody offers me a gift and I decline the gift, it's not mine anymore. I just, but I didn't have to do anything to get that gift, right? Or else it's not a gift. So it's called the gift of salvation for a reason. Well, my understanding of the gift of salvation is the gift of understanding words, and it's been taught by, or I've picked it up from many, many, many different mentors along the way. My study has been for 25 years of personal development, and I don't say that to, it's not to sound arrogant. It's not to be arrogant. Again, it's just what my course has been. I don't blame anybody. I don't take credit. I'm just telling, I say it only to give understanding of the things that I'm saying, I guess, to give, validity to what I'm saying, as opposed to just, spouting something where you're like, not you, anybody is just like, okay, whatever. I'm very well studied in this field, and I've come to the understanding, or it's been given to me, that words are source creation. David Allen is a guy that, every day, all day, Facebook, that's what he does. He talks about different words, or not words, but different scenarios. He calls it metaphysics, and where, it's a reminder, because we have to remind ourselves every day, because we're born fresh every day, and every day is a new day, and we can change it if we change our words. Put off the old man, put on the new man. So I don't mean to, hog the floor. That was not my point. Sometimes I get on a inspired, communication, and at any point, anybody interrupt, I don't care. It's meant to be.
All right, man. I'm loving this energy. Thank you for giving us your perspective, man. That's great.
Man, quit playing around, OTW. Hey, what's up? I just want to pop in and remind everyone that our friend Aaron here has played a pivotal role in the lore of the Trutherverse. He was the one that motivated OTW to do all of this to begin with. When it came to the improvement of smoking less and starting to work out and doing like regular broadcasts, he was the one that initially hyped up OTW on Paul's stream and gave him some constructive criticism. And so I just wanted to remind everyone of that, although I'm sure everyone remembers.
Well, yeah, I absolutely remember. So I will never forget my first interaction with. It's like, quit bullshitting yourself, man. Go ahead and do it. Don't say you're gonna do it. Just do it. And yeah, I remember that interaction.
I know. Well, I knew what I was doing when I was doing it, but it's not always effective. But I knew what I was doing because, again, it's your awareness. That's what I said. 25 years of study, bro. It's like Tony Robbins. I just speak to the people I speak to. You're speaking to the people that you speak to based on your experience. It's not a choice that we have. It really isn't. You just fucking do what you know to do. And the better that you know, the better that you can do. And I knew, based on what you said, and this is why I, kind of forcefully, like put you on the spot, because you said, I want to take a break from smoking pot. And so I'm like, okay, well, here we go. This is my role now. I get to jump into here. But, not to my credit and not to my fault. It's just is. But the more that you know, the better that you know.
It was like the universe was placing the things at the right moment, at the right time, in the right situation, with the right person, to say the right thing, to just trigger that little spark that needed to be triggered, just to have that butterfly effect. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I'm glad I got to be a part of that. That's what I always say. Whenever I get to watch somebody succeed, that's my highest. I love watching people succeed. That's my number one most highest thing. And if I get to be a part of that, then that's amazing.
Well, you see, that 30-day challenge that I imposed upon myself actually brought me to the fact that, when I was doing YouTube videos or broadcasts in the beginning, I wasn't really consistent, just not very, it's just like, I don't know, swinging it or something. I was just like winging it, if it's not how you call it. But anyway, so now I have like, now I have a little bit more of a consistent appearance, and I've learned consistency through the challenge because of the, how much it demanded a lot of effort. You wouldn't believe how much I had to go through just to be able to complete that challenge. That, and because I live with my woman, and I have animals, and I have all kinds of different responsibilities. I have like so much land. It takes 5 hours to cut the grass. So yeah, exactly. So there you go. So that's why yeah, but it still gave me the opportunity to find time to do what I love the most. So I'm really happy to be here, and that people enjoy the stream. And I believe that the consistency and the fact that I'm here every day shows that I'm really devoted to what I want to do, and that this is the proof that I give by being present there every day and contributing and time, energy, and effort into trying to create something that's worth people's time, time, energy, and attention.
Well, and the ripple effect of this, somebody said butterfly effect, I think earlier, but the ripple effect is that you don't know where this, what you're, doing is going to have an effect on. You don't know what's that going to happen in 20 years. So I give kudos to you for doing what you do. When I think that when I speak to people, I'm speaking to myself. So I'm just reinforcing what I should know or already do know, and I'm trying to put that into effect for my own self. And I'm also inspired to speak at certain times, and that may not necessarily be good. But the point is, everything happens as it should. I've found that out to be. So everything happens as it should. And at some point, this was on Paul's stream the other day. I think it was Snafu was talking. And I was like, everybody is redeemable. I mean, I asked him the question, do you think everybody is redeemable? And he said no, because he was having a hard time with me saying I love he said pedo. But I said, I love everybody. It doesn't mean that I agree with them, but I've learned that karma, like if I was all jacked up, I would want somebody to love me through it. So I love everybody through whatever they're going to. And if I'm inspired, or if I have the ability to help direct them in a way that's going to be more successful for their life, that I can see that they may not see, then I'll try to interject that, and then it's also, the people have to want to, they have to want it, if they don't want it, then you're almost potentially pushing them away. So it's a fine line that you have to walk. But what you're doing is, if people weren't wanting it, they wouldn't be here. So that's invaluable in itself. And I say, keep doing what you're doing. This is the first time I've been on here, so I appreciate you again. But I've seen you on Paul's channel, so you know I knew that what you had to say was solid in the start. It just so happened that I was out working today, and I heard he was restreaming you, and that's the only way I even knew that what was going on. And then I was just listening to the stream, but I couldn't actually interject except for comments here or there, and you didn't see those because I was on his stream. But now here I am. Anyway, I'll shut up.
Hey, Mott, welcome to the stream, man. Sorry I was muted. First time comer, I believe. Is that possible?
You are, mate, yeah. First time.
Yeah, and how did you find our stream? Like,
Stumbled across it.
Oh, that's great. Nice to hear that the algorithm is doing its job. See, people, it's always good to do that like, share, and subscribe thing there that gets the algorithm going, and it helps to share out the channel. So make sure to hit that like button, everybody. It really helps out. See, we got newcomers, we got new faces, new panel walkers. This is just great. Where are you from, my friend?
Me? Have a guess.
I'd say Britain.
Yeah. Any particular city?
How about London?
No.
Birmingham.
Have you been to England?
No, I haven't.
No.
You're
okay.
From, let's say. Let me guess. You're from Gloucester.
No.
Oh, okay.
It's anybody that's been to England can recognize my accent.
Well, I have a friend that's from England, so if he was here right now, he'd probably tell me, but I wouldn't. I couldn't tell you.
He would be able to tell you.
What part of Britain are you from, sir?
I'm from England, and I am from Liverpool.
Liverpool. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, geez, I should have got that off the first guess. I damn it.
Yeah, my accent's a little bit different than most typical Scousers, so it does have a lot of similarities and such. But
all right, that's awesome. So, what are you into? What kind of topics do you like to talk about, or that interest you?
I'm just waiting to see how the whole room goes.
All right.
And then I might chip in.
All right.
So what was it in your recommended, or did you go looking like for open panels, or how did you find the stream?
It was actually in my recommended, but I have been in other chat streams before, so maybe I had clicked on something that's related to you guys.
Yeah. That's how the algorithm works. I mean, if you've been in other open panel live streams, then
it'll probably present you with some, yeah.
Yeah, they're not super common, but they're also not super rare. I mean, they're not too hard to find if you know how to use the search feature. Like if you go to look open panel, and then you sort it by lives, for instance. Yeah, or if you just watch them a lot, then they'll start to be recommended to you. Like I notice in my recommended, sometimes there'll be 5 recommended live streams that are all open panels, but they're not necessarily useful information or of any value to me. A lot of the time, they're just open panels, people just talking, but a lot of times it can probably seem that way to other people here, or other people on where we're, especially when we're having small talk, but when we're getting into the edutainment, the education and the information, it's another story. So how long have you been listening?
You're kind of like on the tail end of the show right now.
Pardon?
You're kind of like on the tail end of the show right now, because we pretty much went through all the really heavy topics that there was pretty much about laws, legislation, rights, freedoms, properties, equity.
Is this all American laws and stuff?
Well, actually, no. It's actually worldwide. It's something that should be
universal law.
It's universal law. So it's in every country.
It's a good thing, though. Like what's universal law?
Oh, you're gonna have to go rewatch the whole stream, my friend. You got 6 hours, almost 7 hours of information
Yeah.
there, brother, in conversation. So you want to learn something? I suggest you rewatch the stream.
Can I ask a question? Can you guys hear me?
Go ahead, Natch Kid.
I want to.
Welcome to the stream.
Yeah, thanks, Patrick. And actually, I want to address the question too. Is that L.I.G? How do I say your name, sir?
Life is good. That's L.I.G.
Okay, life is good.
Life is
so,
good,
yeah, I do apologize. I kind of came in a little bit later, but what is your premise? Like, what were you talking about? Like about the word exactly? Like, are you a coach of some kind?
Well, I'm an unpaid coach. How about that?
Okay.
I mean, I did do personal training. I wanted to do and I still will, public speaking. This is kind of that. I mean, but ultimately I came to the conclusion that I can't give away the information that I've learned because I live by the golden rule. The golden rule is treat other people as you would want to be treated. So if somebody had information for me and I was broke as shit and I didn't have the money to get that information, would I want them to teach me anyway? So that's kind of where I am with it. I teach anybody that is willing to listen or wanting to listen. It's seek and ye shall find. That's So I am a coach of some sort, but I also learn.
Yes. Okay, so like you have some information that you feel that people would benefit from, and you work with donations, or is it behind a particular paywall?
No. I mean, I really work with the other people that are inspired, based on what they want to do, however they want to do it, however my message goes across. But I work a job. I do my own business. I have a landscaping business, and that's really how I make my money. But, I'm not opposed to contributions, but I just, I don't
ask for it.
I'm not pushing that. That's not my thing. I'm just here to share the information.
Matt, did you want us to say something?
No, I was just trying to guide the conversation. Like when he said he's not opposed to it, like he just doesn't ask for it. But maybe contributions might be a good thing for him, especially if we can sort something out on social media, like in a way that reaches a large audience.
Well, again, it all goes back to the golden rule. At a point, I had this vision of like charging $10,000 a month to coach people. Like that was like my goal, drive. I was driven for that. And then at a point, I came to understand the golden rule to the point where I felt like I could not do that. I would not do that because if I have the time, the resource, the capability to share what I got to learn. I mean, I did seek and you shall find. I did that. And I've studied for 25 years to come to this understanding or conclusion. But also it was a gift to me. It wasn't like I had any, I can't take credit for doing that because I'm only doing what I know to do as me. So
but
my path has led me to. Go ahead.
And also you are teaching the next generation as well. The ones that may not be able to afford it.
I didn't understand the last thing you said.
The next generation, the ones like the people who may not be able to afford it, you're still giving them the skills.
Anybody.
Yeah. Yeah, but L.I.G, you must have felt that it was worth $10,000. Otherwise, where like per month? Like otherwise, where did that money or where did that number come from? Right? I mean, it didn't just come out of nowhere, right?
Well, it was just basic studying other people that were doing the things that I would like to do or would have wanted to do at that time. It's changed since then. Like I said, I just, I get a lot of fulfillment just being able to come on. Thank you again, OTW. Just being able to come on a panel and share the information. and get to see somebody actually do something with that. And just in my own heart, if they never recognized, I don't care. If they never saw that I was the impetus for that change in their life, I wouldn't care, because I would know in my own heart and personally. And that's the highest reward, is when you live by the golden rule, you're not doing it for the other people, you're doing it for yourself. So whatever you give, you're getting. And it doesn't matter if you're even just thinking it in your own mind. If you're thinking hateful thoughts, you're living at experience. So if I can help people to realize that and change their own thing, then that's great. And if I never get credit or never get money, then that's fine. I'll get paid somehow on this world.
Can you go further into that? If you're thinking hateful thoughts, you're living in by experience. What do you mean by that?
You experience anything that you're thinking. If you're imagining and thinking and saying certain things, you're experiencing that. So if you're like, I hate this motherfucker, he's a fucking, I hate whatever, I would wish them to be whatever, harmed. You're experiencing that, not them. That.
Oh, so it's you. It's you that's experiencing it. But what about if some certain events have caused you to experience, like, let's say you've had a bad run-in with them, then is it your experience with them that's causing that? I don't know.
You gotta say that again. I'm sorry, your accent is kind of thick to me, so I'm having a little bit of a challenge.
So you're saying your experience, right? And is it your experience with like certain people, or is it your experience with just in yourself?
My experience has been worldly, and it's been with myself, and I've also seen it in hundreds of other people, because I have coached hundreds of people at this point. So I get to watch what they experience based on using my ultimate, one of my, I've got maybe a couple of messages, but one is use your words to say the things that you want. That's it. That's the number one. And when you start to do that, if you start saying things that you want, then you'll start seeing things in the world that you want. When you start saying things, or you're saying things like, I hate that motherfucker, then you'll experience that. That's the metaphysical that people don't understand. That's the mystery.
So you're saying you hate that motherfucker, or whatever you said. You hate that person. You're saying it to them.
You don't have to say it to them. Okay. It's everything that it's a vibration. Okay. So there's a law of attraction. All this stuff comes down to the same thing. However you want to label it. To me, it's God, but people call it the universe. People call it law of attraction. People call it just all kinds of things, law of vibration. But the words that we use create a vibration within ourselves that we are then, it's an energy, however you want to put it. I'm saying it's all the same. There is only one source.
It's kind of like The Secret, right? It's very similar to that.
The Secret. The Secret is very fundamental. It's such a, it's such a kind of a small picture, but
you believe that though?
It's the same thing.
You believe you believe that it's all like, if you just pull out positive vibes or positivity.
I think it's a practice. I don't think that you just like pull them out. I think that you have to practice it to the point where you can actually get yourself in that state of consciousness. States of consciousness.
Would it not work if you was very negative, but you just pull out this, you just pull out all the stuff that you'd bring with positivity, you'd get the same result.
I think that
negative.
I think that we're given feedback from our realm based on what we are saying and feeling, imagining, feeling. We get feedback that then increases our belief in whatever it is that we've been saying, because we actually start to see evidence of that. And then from that evidence, it can build, into greater, but you have to first make a choice. Not always. Sometimes you're just inspired into it, by an outside means, but somewhere in there you were thinking, I want to make this kind of change. somewhere in there you were seeing that I would like to be this kind of a person more. So then it's given to us. It's a mystery, dude. I mean, I can't even claim to know how it works. I have no idea.
I've got a question then. Why is so many bad people successful?
No, they're not though. If you look into their own head, dude, they're living in hell. If they're fucking with people, they're living in hell. It's just their own kind of hell.
But they are like.
So what if they have money? Who gives a fuck? If you have all the money in the world and you're lonely, if you have all the money in the world, that's why I don't care about money. I mean, I do want money. Don't get me wrong. I would, love to have all the money in the world, but not in a means that is going to defy my inner self or my inner understanding at this point. You can get it, but you may not keep it, or you may go to jail, or you may just live in misery that is silent. You can put on the biggest, false, like I've got it all shit to the world. And if you're not living the way I'm talking about right now, you are going through some hell. That's what I believe hell and heaven are now. They're not later. And they may be later too. But if you're living by the golden rule, you're going to live in heaven. That's my message. You will. If you're thinking good for other people, if you're saying good for other people, if you're saying good for yourself, however you would want to do it, you're saying the things that you would want to happen to be, that presents a heaven in this realm that I'm experiencing. And the only reason I can speak on it is because I'm experiencing it. So that's my testimony as far as things go. When, I told you I'm not religious. I don't know if you heard that, but I'm not religious. But, I do believe the Bible is an instructional book. I think Dick said it earlier where it's he didn't say parable, but he's not here anymore.
Allegory.
Yeah, allegory. I mean, it's like they're stories to teach us because we all go through states. The states don't change, but we can choose to enter those states or not by using our words. If you say I'm happy, and you say I'm happy, and you say I'm happy, and you continue to say it, even though other times you might say, oh, this sucks. You have to continue to say it. That's why it's a practice. I am happy. I am happy. Then you imagine and you try to get yourself into that feeling state of being happy. And then all of a sudden you see things in your world start to show up that actually go along with that and make you happy. They actually, build that up. So whatever you're saying, if you say I'm sick, I'm sick, I'm sick, you're casting these things forward. This is what I've learned. That's why I preach the word, because the words that we use are casting forward. They're not falling into the past like most people have been taught. They think that whatever I say now is now gone. But actually what I say now is actually going forward for me to meet that back sometime in this time space continuum, this time space realm. So I say the things that I want and I've experienced it get better and better and better. And that's why I say life is good. I feel good. Good things are always happening to me. Life is good. If you can say these things, it's been years now where I've experienced less than life is good. It's my ability to believe it. But the more I say it and the more I see it, the more I believe it, the more I can't not believe it. So I just continue to say it because I'm just keep casting it forward. And it's so simple that it's, I'm grateful to the guy that taught me that. He didn't.
So that's it, right? I mean, you have that positive outlook and you have that affirmation about life being good. And basically, if everybody else followed that, tenet, then their life would be good, right? Like, so you say it, you believe it, and then, you continue to live that life, right? So, I mean, like that's the end of the lesson right there, right? Or is there more? Is there a lot of other little nuances? No, I'm like, I mean, you would know more than anybody else because you're the coach and you have coached hundreds of people, like you mentioned. And though you may not have like, charge them like $10,000 a month or whatever. Like, like, do you feel like you have like achieved, like all your desires and wants.
Absolutely.
So okay, so
I have
you
experience on this earth. I've been through all the states. I choose to stay in the states that I want now, which is love, happiness, joy. Joy is like huge. And anything else, I just don't participate. I don't get caught up in. You can visit a state. I get, sentimental. I get sadness sometimes.
But that's your choice.
I don't stay there.
But you choose to do that. Yeah.
Well, I don't even know if I choose to, but it happens. But I don't have to stay there because I know that, I'm not subject anymore.
Okay. So do you believe that, what is your motive to be on these panels to talk about your philosophy? I'm just curious. Where's it?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I can't help but to be who I am, and that's what I understand about other people as well. Everybody's doing the best they can with what they have, based on what they've been, dealt with in this world. So, my inspiration is by God the Father, for lack of a better, phraseology, but it's coming outside of me. I do what I'm compelled to do, as everybody does, and that's why I said I love the pedo too, because they're only doing what they're compelled to do.
What does it mean?
What they've learned, but it doesn't mean I agree with what they're doing. And if I can help them to, change that ideology so that they don't have to go through hell, because if you think that a pedophile is not going through hell, they may live some experiences that they find, exciting or whatever the case might be. But if you don't think that they're going through hell trying to deal with all the shit that they are doing, then I would say you're sorely mistaken.
Okay.
So if you can live by the golden rule, which is, not rape other people or rape kids, right? I wouldn't want to be raped if I were a kid. I wouldn't, want somebody to rape me if I were whatever.
Well, that's obvious, right?
But when you start to live like that, then you start to experience what I call heaven on earth. And that is what I'm living now. So what's my inspiration? I have no idea, man. I really don't.
Okay.
Except that if I can
that's fine. So what is heaven and hell right now? Like what do they look like, or what do they feel like? What is that state of being?
The state of being of heaven is, to me, life is good. I feel good. Good things are always happening to me. I recognize these things every day. Okay. To real life example, recently, I met my girlfriend. Well, I met her a long time ago, but we started seeing each other about 6 years ago. Her kids, it's a, long story that I won't get into, but I was not accepted at all in that situation.
Okay.
However, it took some time too, because I wasn't even sure, is this what I want to pursue? Is this, really what do I want? That's the biggest question for people that I try to point people back to all the time. Your heaven is going to be different than my heaven. So what do you want?
Okay, so it's relative.
Absolutely.
So the heaven and hell is all relative. I see.
Absolutely. At least right now in this realm. I don't know.
So you cannot speak about anybody else's heaven nor anybody else's hell, because you can only speak about your own heaven and your own hell, correct?
I can only. And then I would point people back to what I consider to be their heaven based on what they've, expressed to me. So I would say, well, why don't you pursue that? Why don't you, instead of saying that, why don't you say this?
Okay, yeah. So I would be interested in knowing what is your heaven and what is your hell, because you said,
my heaven is to do whatever the hell I want, whatever
you want.
To do. Yeah.
Okay.
Whatever I'm inspired to do, and I'll say, on top of that, I am inspired to not harm anybody else. So,
okay.
With that caveat, I do anything that I want. And if I want it, that's the hardest question for me, is what do I want? Because I feel like I've already been through all of the states.
So you have no wants?
Not really. I mean, I like this. This is a good time to me. This is probably one of my, bests. I mean, I do have wants. I would love to be completely financially free to the point where I can just, do anything anytime, but I still do that right now. That's what except without
Okay,
travel.
let's look into that a little bit. You said that you don't have any wants, and then you changed your mind. You said, well, I do have some wants, and then we got into something a little bit more specific, and now you said that you would like to be completely financially free. What does that mean to you?
Well, I kind of live it now. That's kind of why I said I don't want
Okay,
for anything.
so you already live a completely financially free lifestyle, correct?
Well, if I would like to take off and fly to Paris today, that is not in my books at this moment in this realm. So I would just
so then you don't want it.
Expand. I would like to expand my capability of doing whatever I want, and I do whatever I want. I'm just saying that, there's a
you do whatever you want within your means. You do whatever you want within, yeah. But then you would like to expand your means, right?
Absolutely.
So you could do more things that you want.
So you're a coach.
No. I never have claimed to be one. I just want to know your, rationale. I mean, that's what I'm interested in, like where you're coming from, and
I have no idea at this point, where I'm going from day to day. I do speak the things that I want, and I see them happen. And the biggest thing that I got to learn from somebody was life is good. I feel good. Good things are always happening to me. That's my main quote mantra. And I say it all the time. And then it becomes a surprise as to what shows up in this realm. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. That's cool. That's cool. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I have no idea, dude. I used to think that I had it figured out, but I realize I have no idea.
Well, look, I'm not here to criticize you, Aaron. Like I saw your name in the chat. I mean, no. I'm just merely I'm merely asking some questions. But what I can say at least from this interaction is that I do feel that there could be some inconsistencies, at least inconsistencies in a sense that I don't understand completely where you're coming from, and just seems like there are some conflicting ideas that's kind of being played out. And I'll give you an example. Like you say that, you could have, or you could potentially charge people like, let's say $10,000 a month, but then, you feel like you want to go help people. And then you say things like, well, I don't even know why I'm doing whatever I'm doing. They seem a little bit like maybe all over the place. And perhaps I don't understand the structure where you're coming from. And that's the reason why I feel a little bit confused.
This is what I'm getting at. I have no idea, man. I really don't. And I do know the golden rule. I live by that as best as I can. Sometimes I'm sure I falter at that. However, I live by it as best as I can. And I feel like, I really feel like there is something beyond me that is leading me to wherever I'm going. And it's a mystery as to where that is. And so the things that I wanted 10 years ago, I have no desire for today. The things that I want today, I'll have no desire for in 10 years. So I just don't know at this point. I mean, that's why I stick with the simplest. Life is good. I feel good. Good things are always happening to me, because internally or in the truest depth of myself somewhere, I know what that means to me. And so the question is always, what do I want? What do I really want?
Right.
And then since I've already been through, I mean, I've had not a shit ton of money, but plenty of money, and I still do. I mean, I still make plenty of money. Like I could do pretty much anything if I wanted to. I might have to work for it. But
do you feel like you're making enough money? Do you feel like you're making enough money for your standard?
I think that if I made pennies, I would be making enough money at this point. There's nothing I need in this world. I'm just I feel like
you have everything. You have everything. You're at a state where you don't have any more wants.
I have all that I need, and anything else could be a want. But then the question is, what do I want? And I really don't have any. I can't come up with any concrete answers to that. What do I want? The only thing I could really want for more is money. And then I still have conflicting beliefs about that. Like, you know, like I can still do whatever I need or want without money, you know, like I've traveled, I've, you know, met people. My biggest want and desire is this right here, probably, you know, just to be able to communicate messages to other people and learn from other people. You know, if I can share, great. If I can learn, great. That's probably my number one desire at this point, you know. So that's what I follow and pursue as much as I can. And I still do work. So, you know, I can't always, you know, and I work by myself. So, and, you know, my biggest fulfillment is to watch other people succeed. And I think I've said that again and again.
And like you said, like, you know, people are experiencing their heaven and their hell, and you know that's going to be different for each individual. So your quote unquote success is for each individual to experience their heaven in their own life.
I like it. Yeah.
Rather than their own hell. But
Absolutely.
That's relative, you know. So
well,
like
it is relative, and it's also based on because I've been through hell. I mean, like, you know, everybody goes through hell. I just believe that. I believe everybody goes through hell, and then
which is what is hell? Because like if you say it's relative to
mental torment.
Okay, so it's okay.
And also physical, you know, experience. I mean, it could be physical experience, but it's mainly mental torment, which brings on the physical experience of, you know, whatever shit. You know, I've already lived through all the shit. That's what I'm getting at. You know, I don't experience shit anymore. And that's pretty amazing. So if I can help present that to somebody else and they don't have to go through that shit, because I'm thankful of the mentors that I've had that have taught me, you know, what I've gotten to learn and now experience. So now it's just like give back. That's why I said about a responsibility earlier. You have a responsibility once you understand that golden rule. You can't just sit back and watch somebody do that, because is that what you will want for you? You know, and sometimes you have to look at it and be like, well, they obviously have to go through this right now, and there's nothing that I can personally do about it. They're going through it. So, you know, it's part of
how do you
process.
Discern like where
I don't know. That's where I'm saying. I have no idea. But I do. It's been, I mean, years of study is part of my, you know, what would be my rational answer, but I can't say how I discern except that, you know, I am led. It's first you are called, then you are sent. I am sent. That's what I've learned.
And that's what that's what brought you over here, is that you feel like you were led to come here to be able to share your truth.
I wouldn't be here otherwise.
To the public. Okay.
Yeah. I don't spend my time anywhere I don't want to be.
Right. Well, that's good. And you're willing to teach or coach people who are only willing to listen, obviously. And you're not really charging people, or you could be okay with donations, but like you're basically actively right now looking for people who are willing to go further with the teachings.
I'm really just going with the flow. I mean, that's definitely, you know, something that makes me happy. So, you know, I don't know that that's my main pursuit. I don't really know what my main pursuit is, really. You know, I'm a lost puppy, truly, because I have no idea. Because I used to have wants and desires, and then I realized that it doesn't matter what the circumstance is. I am happy. So there is nothing that I have to do or somebody I have to be around that to make me happy. I am already that. So, you know, everything else is just a bonus. That's why I go with life is good. I feel good. Good things are always happening to me, because those things then appear in my world. And then, you know, I'm like, whoa, oh, yes, that is good. That's freaking awesome. Wow, life is good. Oh, I do feel good. Oh, good things are always happening to me. I mean, it's just little things that I realize. Oh, back to the story about my girlfriend. I was not accepted. In recent time, which I saw into the future, this is something that I wanted, I guess. You know, it was an evolution of a want for me, or a desire. But her kids now accept me, like, wholeheartedly. They respect me. They've gotten to know me well enough that they know that, you know, my intention is good or whatever the case might be. And now they respect me and they love me, like truly just love, and I love them. And that's amazing to me. You know, it's like one of those life is good. But if you would have seen the path along the process, it, you know, if I didn't have the faith in that outcome, it would not be. And also the surprises along the way as to how it came to be were amazing. And I've been doing the life is good thing for about 3 years. So I just continually watch life get better and better and better. So, you know, I don't know, dude. I can just point people back to that for them. And then I ask them, what do you want? That's a big question. What do you want? What do you want? You know? And a lot of people don't know the answer to that. And I can't claim to know the answer to that. I don't know for my own self.
Well, if somebody did want something, for example, do you believe that you can help them to achieve what they want better or faster?
For sure. Guaranteed. I brainwash people.
And how do you do that?
Repetition.
Just
by bringing
affirmation.
their awareness back to, because people forget from day to day. And that's the thing that I don't do. That's why I said I'm completely, you know, satisfied in my life, because from day to day, I realize that I don't let my words or my imagination take off anymore. I've gotten such a rein on it that I think only those things that I want. And I'm so aware of the things that I'm thinking and speaking to myself and speaking out loud that I don't say things that I don't want. And that's really where I go with people. I bring them back to that understanding, that concept, that idea, and then, you know, point them back to that question of what do you want, and then say those things.
So if you don't say the things that you don't want, then eventually that like kind of diminishes that thought until it like gets to a point where it completely disappears, and you no longer
they'll no longer be there.
generate that idea anymore. So you just,
it's not just the idea, it's the experience too.
Mm-hmm.
You'll no longer experience that.
So in your reality, you only experience good things and happiness. You don't experience unhappiness or sadness. You said that you might visit there or it might spontaneously come up, but you choose not to stay there. It doesn't really affect you. So you only so you want to share your happiness. That this is success for you, and you want to share this success with others. Yeah.
Well, maybe. I mean, I don't know, but mainly I just would. I like to see other people successful.
What's that?
I said
I was
mainly.
just saying it made sense in that perspective.
It could be exactly. It's just what really. I mean, how I would define it is that when I get to see or be a part of, it makes me feel good to be a part of other people's success, and I don't have to have credit for it. I mean, like I said, I've helped hundreds of people that I guarantee will never, ever give me that credit. They'll never even remember it because we forget shit from day to day. But I know in my being, and that's the most fulfilling thing. When, you know, when we do things for people, we're not doing it for them. We're doing it for ourselves. And that's why I preach the golden rule all the time. You know, you feel better about yourself when you do a good thing. When you do a bad thing, you're feeling shit. And then you're also questioning other people because you're thinking that they're up to bad things, because we reflect or we project. We see that in other people. So I see love in other people. And guess what? I go to the store. I go anywhere. I go and people give me a, or they give me a, how you doing? All the time. It doesn't happen otherwise. I haven't had any, I mean, it's not true. In recent times, I had some guy looking at me like he was wanting to kill me. I was kind of out of my territory as far as things go, and then I just gave him a head nod and, you know, moved along the way. But that's as much as I can remember. In the last 2 years, I haven't been met with confrontation because I don't meet people with confrontation. So what you give is what you get. And that's my message. That's, you know, and in order to direct what you're giving, you have to know the words that you're using. In order to know the words you're using, you have to be aware of that. And until you're aware of it, you're subject. You don't have a choice. And that's why it's easy to forgive other people, because they're not aware, or else they wouldn't be doing that. So, people do the best they can with what they got. And so I always point people back to awareness of their words. That's where I go with my coaching as far as things go. And I'm effective, or I have been effective, because you have a guy that I studied, his name is Neville Goddard. He said it takes many iterations for somebody to get something, meaning that it takes repetition upon repetition upon repetition upon repetition for somebody to actually, for it to sink in. But because I've studied the material so much in my life, it's there. Like, I don't have a choice. I'm so now it's just like I exist as my human being, Aaron, but also I live in the spirit more so than anything. And now I experience this earth realm. And
would you like to get credit for your coaching? I mean, in order for you to coach, that's already a position, right? Like, if you're a coach, you need somebody to coach. Does that make sense? Like, somebody who is not at the level that you're at, and then you would like to bring them up to the level of where you're at. Or is that not like that?
To me, I've said this, I can help anybody that wants help. I'm not trying to force it onto people. And, if somebody's in front of me and we're having a conversation, I believe that there is some divine reason for that. And I don't know what it is right now necessarily, but in 20 years from now, who knows? I don't know. 5 years, a year, but I know that I'm inspired at certain times, and other times I'm not inspired, and I follow my inspiration. And with that, I mean, I've got a bunch. The life is good, I feel good, good things are always happening to me is what I go to at this point. But over the years, I had written my own mantra, which was like literally like 14 minutes long of I am statements. So it was like, I am confident, happy, healthy, wealthy, and free. I'm disciplined. I am decisive. I know what I'm going to do, and I do what I say I'm going to do. And I'm not going to go the whole route there, but I'm saying that I've implanted those words into my psyche and my subconscious to the point where I experience them now. But we're casting forward. It doesn't fall to the past. It doesn't go away. We're casting forward, and that's where I try to bring people's awareness to, because when I was training people at the gym, everything would come out of their mouth.
Hold on a second. I just want to cut you off for a second there, but with the Mandela effect and everything, it wouldn't be really too far-fetched or hard to believe that what you're saying is absolutely true.
Well, I know from my experience, so I can only speak on that, and also what I've seen with others. So that's why I say I just bring it back to awareness of your words. What do you want? And then, there are certain principles at use when you're doing these things. You can't say, I want to have a family. You say, I am a family man. You say, I am a great husband. You say, and then the hard part, because we've been conditioned, is to try to believe. And that's why it says, can man only believe? So whatever you can believe, if you can conceive it and you can believe it, then you can achieve it, right? And it said, ask with faith that it is done and it will be given to you. So by asking with faith that it is done, you are imagining that you already have it, or you already are it.
Right.
Then it will be given to you. And that's where, that's the veil that society has created that we, most people are not aware of. So that's why I said it was given to me, and now I get to share that with other people. And a lot of people, it says, many have ears but they can't hear. I've talked to a lot of people that have no fucking clue, and they're not going to, and it doesn't matter. I'm maybe just that seed, or maybe I pushed them away. I don't know.
Well, I mean, you've been given a gift, let's say, right, from the supernatural. Okay, let's just say. So is it possible for you to give this gift to somebody else, or can it only be gotten by the supernatural to the individual as a gift?
Well, that is through me. That would be through
me. You. Okay.
It wouldn't be me, but I would be the human that carried
like a conduit.
To them.
You're a conduit to that. Okay.
Right, and everybody is, and that's what I'm saying. Everything works in synchronicity, and you never know what if you take a half section of somebody's life. If you look at somebody's life when they were like 19 years old or 20 or 50, or 25, and they're doing shit that is terrible, you might judge that they're fucked up and they're going to be fucked up. They're going to have a fucked up life. You might judge that, right? But that's why I say everybody's redeemable, because I was, totally fucked up, and I still am. Don't get me wrong. But I mean, I just don't.
What do you mean by that?
Doing no harm. Well, I just mean that, I'm a person, and I was raised. And
you think yourself totally fucked up?
Well, I'm totally perfectly fucked up. How about that?
Okay.
I'm perfect exactly.
Okay, please explain yourself. I don't understand what that means. So you said you're totally fucked up. You're totally perfectly fucked up. Okay. Now I need to understand what that means to you.
Say people are weird. Okay. Everybody's weird. Some people, don't put the cap on the toothpaste. Okay. That's what they've learned. They're weird. And so it's like really just relating to other people's weirds. If you just like went into my head, you'd be like, what is going on with this guy? Right. But I'm saying I would do the same thing if I went into your head. I'd be like, what the fuck? I'm sure you've got some fucked up thoughts. I know this universally. Everybody is fucked up. However, you can get past that. Now I'm still fucked up dude, my sense of humor is perverse. It's ridiculous. Some of the shit that comes to my mind, I don't say, because it's just not socially acceptable, but I know it, I think it, and I'll say it in certain company, and that's fucked up. This is what I mean when I say I'm fucked up. I mean, it's different, everything, to my being. However, I act on the golden rule. So if I'm not harming anybody else, I don't feel like that's a problem. If I'm not causing loss, injury, or harm. And that's so I can be, in my own right, as weird as I want, in my own right. I feel okay about that. I feel good about that. That's not the issue. I love myself. That's, and it's only happened in the last some years, where I actually love myself. I couldn't do that, a lot of my life. And it wasn't my fault either. That's what if you can get to the point of loving yourself, then it's very easy to love other people, because then you're like, they're just as fucked up as I am or was, or whatever the case might be, And then
hey, Aaron,
you live by the golden rule. I'll shut up.
Hey, Aaron, brother. What's up, brother?
Is that Moose?
No, it's me, man. It's Jackie boy.
It doesn't sound like Jack.
Yeah, I can't do a good Jack. But has anyone ever told you that they feel, and I'm pretty sure I've probably witnessed it on a panel already. I'm just asking for a reminder because I don't remember. But has anyone ever told you that they feel they could improve your mantra or tweak it ever so slightly?
I don't know that I've been told that.
To make it more powerful and essentially remove the not victim placehood that it has, but almost like a it's kind of okay. Sure. So life is good. I feel good. Good things are always happening to me. Right? But what if you said that life is good, I feel good, good things are always happening for me. Right?
You could say so for, you could say with.
So sure. But it's almost like by saying to me, you're taking on that. It's not
surprise.
I don't know what the right term would be for it. It wouldn't be the victim.
Well, you become the object of that good thing, right?
opposed to right.
I'll consider what you're saying. I always play back conversations. I've studied the use of words for many, many years prior to settling on that. However, I would be stupid if I didn't consider a better possibility, at least in my own mind. So I'll consider what you're saying for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it could be nothing or it could be everything, right? Because as you're saying, if the value and importance of the words and the language is even half as important as you say it is, which I think it's probably even more important than you're saying it is, right? So, because it's like us trying to describe God and thinking that we can do any credit to, what actually is unnameable and undescribable and so beyond any type of fathomability, right? Yeah. By the feeble human mind, right? So, and that's what makes the language so, especially when you find out that it's actually been reverse engineered, right, to completely disempower you and essentially get you to continually talk yourself into that position, So it's interesting when people get on Wizard, right? Like Smith, Mr. Smith, Agent Smith will get on Wizard, if you know who Smith Creature is, as Paul puts it. He's a number counter like myself. He's someone who and everyone's got their niche, right? There are the Mandela effect people. There are the flat Earth people, and more the number counter types. So it's interesting if you did try to put Paul into a box, he would, I guess, go into the rights and freedoms and my patriot movement kind of as some people might see it, right? And a lot of people did see it or do see it like that still because of a lot of the groups that come out. But man, I'm going way off on a tangent.
What niche would I be in? I'm a panel walker niche.
I guess FE and ME, so you'd be under both flat and Mandela. I don't even like saying the Mandela anymore. Can we just take on a new? Because then you're just giving all this power.
We tried. We tried. I was saying the quantum effect, or something. Yeah, but it never it doesn't stick because Mandela effect is such a strong moniker. It just stuck around. Nobody wants to move away from it.
Z brings up a good point with the quantum thing, and I get it. It's kind of falling into maybe the scientism trap, but mind frame. But I've gained a lot of value from Mr. Aaron here. Honestly.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I would like to say, maybe in closing, because I will be going pretty soon. But the thing is, Aaron, I appreciate your thought, and I like novel Goddard material, and we understand. Let me rephrase that. I believe, quote unquote, when Jesus says, we got to have faith, and we have people like Jesus and Buddha and other people who have come along who have shown tremendous amount of faith in this reality and this world, and I look up to them for guidance. I myself, of course, and maybe the rest of us here in the panel and who are listening in, we are working towards having greater faith, but at least from my perspective, we're given different gifts, every single one of us. And, maybe when we share our knowledge with other people, maybe they will gain something from that. But I don't personally believe that I am a conduit in any way. I feel like other people can make their own connections to the source themselves and maybe realize something, that is greater than themselves, and that's what we, may hope for. But I think there's something about being, I don't know, how would I say this in a very direct way, but I think you have to we all have to exemplify our beliefs and our faith, You know what I mean? Like, we have to live that life. And I'm not saying that you are not, but when I am hearing from you, and like you were saying, like, words are important, and that, like, when you say you don't know what you want, but you expect other people to know what they want, and then you know what I'm saying? Like, those kind of things do seem a little bit contradictory to me, at least from the a very limited conversation that we've had with each other. So I may not be getting the full perspective on the matter, but you understand where I'm coming from, I believe, right?
I do. And it was an evolution, because there was a time where I knew what I wanted. And I told you that
Right.
has changed to the point where I am so open to whatever happens, as opposed to what I want, because I've already had, in my opinion, everything that I want. When I said I was a conduit, it's not of God, it's of the information. I'm sharing that information. They may get that information, and then from there, realize it for themselves. But I get to be that bridge potentially, and I like that. It feels good to have that credit. But like I said, I don't care if they give me the credit. I know that this is what I'm doing when I'm doing it. I'm sharing the information with people so that they can ideally, live what they want to live. And ideally, teach people also, worldly things, like don't harm other people. It is worldly, but it's also spiritual, and it's spiritual in that if you're doing that, that's what I'm saying. That is a cause of, they call it karma, right? But it's do unto others as you would have them do unto you. If whatever you give out is what you get back. That's kind of the same with your words, right? Not a word will come back void. So being able to, and it's not even being able to, it's passing along regardless if I want to or not. I'm doing it because I don't have a choice. I don't have a choice being me. And that's what I understand about everybody. So this has been my gift, if you want to call it that. And then you could say it's a gift and a curse, because I don't have a choice. I just have to fucking do, whatever I'm compelled to do, which is, I'd say it's a gift, not a curse. But I would say, I do whatever I'm compelled to do, and it's good, and it's good for me. And if other people get value out of it, great. And if they don't, okay. I'm not your messenger. Somebody else will be. But I believe that everybody is redeemable. And some of us are fortunate enough to come across the information, or however we got it, and then put it into a practice, and then actually be able to live in a I'd say a guilt-free mental space. And when you live in a guilt-free mental space, by goodness, in my let me be clear, then that is heaven. And I don't feel guilty for anything that I do at this time anymore. I just I'm not having an internal fight, and I might not agree with somebody, and I might even talk smack, but ultimately I'm going to love them through it, even if I don't agree with them.
Yeah, somebody asked a good question in the chat. Like, how do you define good? Is there a would you be willing to dive into that a little bit? Like how, because like, look, you were talking about how heaven and hell is relative for each individual, right? So good is like,
to me, good is doing no harm to others. That's
it. Okay.
Probably so. Or and probably even yourself, I would say, but just do no harm. That's the universal law. You live by that.
Do no harm. Yeah.
Do no harm. And I do the best I can with that. I've gotten better about it, but Paul goes extreme to me with, not eating animals, because I like meat.
Right.
So maybe that's my, ego justification. I don't know. But that's, I feel maybe I'm not doing the harm, but the harm is being done. So I get where he's going with, his message about that kind of stuff. So that's something, again, like when people talk, I consider what they're saying.
Right. Like you have not, killed that animal yourself, but you go to the grocery store and you buy animals that's been killed by somebody else's hand, and you don't feel that you're as responsible because of that?
Well, I like meat is really what it is. You know,
okay.
I grew up on it, so I would kill a deer and eat it. I mean, I've never done that, but I would. But I wouldn't kill out of sport. And I don't know if it's sustainable to just live off veggies. I'm sure people do, but is that the way I want to live? You know, so that's where it's like,
obviously not.
Right. I don't know. Well, you see me, I'm not, I mean, I'm a fat ass. You can't maintain this level of fat on vegetables. Come on.
Well, I mean, you are who you want to be. I mean, we've already established that.
Well, I mean, I don't know where else to go from here. That's all. You know, I don't know what else to want for it. That's what I'm getting at. That's where when I say that, I have no idea what I want at this point. I don't know what else to want for. The only thing that drives me truly is to be able to share inspirational messages to somebody that, you know, may benefit from them. That's like the biggest thing that motivates me.
Yeah, but people are inspired. But to me, I'm inspired by examples, people who are living that life. And if you're living that life, that's great.
I am.
You know,
I'm living the life. That's my point. Life is good. I feel good. Good things are always happening to me. I exemplify that daily. Whether that means that to you, that's what I'm saying. I don't judge success based on any certain paradigm. I don't believe that. I believe success is individual. So if somebody wants a whole lot of money and they get that, then that may mean success to them. If somebody wants a family and they get that, then that may mean success to them. So I'm not, I say this all the time, or I've said it for years and years. I'm not here to tell you what to want. I'm just here to try to help you achieve whatever it is that you do want, or bring you back to that awareness so that you can then, you know, manifest, create that in the world. All right.
Hell yeah. Thank you, Aaron. I appreciate your L.I.W. Life is good little mantra for real.
Yeah. What's your name?
Hello,
I know you.
Christos. I think you've talked to me before on Paul's maybe. Yeah, I was there when OTW was talking with you.
Okay. Yeah, what's your name? Christos?
Normally I have facial hair. Christos.
Okay. All right. Well, there's a lot of people that pop in and out of there, so. Pineal or OTW. I'm getting the clue here. So thank you. Pineal Power, always a pleasure. This guy,
Nachiketa.
Yeah, nice to meet you. I don't know.
Pleasure meeting you, Aaron.
So yeah, appreciate you guys.
Much love, man. Hope you come back. It was awesome.
Yeah. Well, whenever I get the opportunity. See you, bro. Thanks for having me up.
Later.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are ending the stream. We are going into the outro music slowly and smoothly here on OTW News, Grand Rising Show number 41. Be sure to be tuned in. Tomorrow's continuing episode of the Grand Rising Show will be number 42 here on OTW News. So be sure to be here at the same bat time, same bat channel, same bat news. You guys have any final words you'd like to say before we go?
Good night, or have good rest of the day, and thanks for having me here. And that was an interesting conversation. I think it's something maybe worthwhile to dive into a little bit more, because words do have meaning, and we have to dissect things and ideas, and I just like to go into deeper things. So anyways, we'll see next time.
All right, much love, man. Hope to see you next time.
Cheers. Bye.
Pineal just left. Usually has an ending segment. Oh, something must have happened. Must have clicked on something. Pineal, come back and do your bit. What's going on? My nails. What are you doing? Get back up here. Dude. My nail. What are you doing?
surprise, Kevin. They don't see me coming.
All right, dude. We still have like 4 minutes left. I guess we can do a little like final teeny weeny thoughts that we might have. 3 minutes. 3 minutes and counting. Make it an 8-hour stream. Come on. Bye, Neil. I love these pictures. Hold on a minute.
Well, as I said, infinite intelligence governs and watches over all of my affairs, actions, and transactions, and whatsoever I do shall and will prosper. How's that one for you, Mr. Aaron? That's my mantra.
Wow. Excellent. Awesome.
It's been an interesting stream as always.
Yes, it has. Very, very interesting. What are we today?
I
Well,
approve,
we were
sir.
Thursday. Today's Thursday, right?
Thursday, yes. Friday Junior, as I think is a more appropriate name.
It's like Thursday Thunder. Yeah, right there. Thursday Thunder.
And I like to drop this one too because people forget.
Yeah, Thursday Thunder. Boom.
Oh darn! You know what? I don't know if you ever played that second video that Ramon wanted you to play.
No, I never got a chance to get to it, man. Conversation got so heated and inspiring that never got back to the video.
Well, now you're gonna have to.
I guess I'll have to bring it up tomorrow morning. At least I'll have content to bring up to start off the show.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it was another one of Lori's videos or what, but if it is, she's got a lot of good stuff on her channel. I dropped her a link earlier.
Yeah.
When we were playing her video.
All right. So I'm out of here. I'm gonna leave you the last minute, bro.
Oh man. Jeez, what do I say? A minute? That's some put me on the spot there, man. Well, hopefully tomorrow I'll say it'll be a grand rising. It'll be early. And I'll say, hello, my friends, we meet again. No, I'm not gonna do the creed right now, but yeah, karaoke tomorrow night, man. You didn't come last week, Pat, so you're gonna have to come, dude. You're gonna need to bring the guitar. It's gonna be like that one time. Barely came through. Michelle came through. Paul came through. I think Niall, Hard Hat, Lou. A lot of people came through. It was a good time. But all right. Until Talcottian Thursday, because Talcottian Tuesday is not enough. I bid you all adieu, Mr. Patrick, sir. Get off these devices, not get any more brain fry. So